Well, there we have it, the icing on the cake, as Japan just launched a stimulus package of about $135 billion. Guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. It is not good for the markets. Japan just got a $135 billion economic stimulus package to help counter impact of high prices. What does this mean? We've been talking about the carry trade unwinding. In very, very simple terms, instead of breaking it down, instead of keeping it insanely complicated like most people, this is a simple breakdown you have to understand. This obviously weakens the yen. This makes Japanese bonds less attractive, therefore raising the yields, which is what we see over here when we correlate this to GameStop's chart. Okay, big money who borrowed yen and invested in US assets, hoping to pocket the difference in yield. So they don't need to, but they do. So they borrow yen, then normally they bring it over, invest in US assets, Bitcoin, SPY, whatever, right? And then they hope to pocket the difference in yield as well as the appreciation in asset price potentially, right? But now Japan is out of control. So this big money has begun selling and unwinding this carry trade. Like we saw back in August of 2024, I believe, March, August, which we'll talk about in the chart in 1 second. Now, nobody knows how large the carry trade is. There's a couple of things I can say. People estimate it's between $1 and $5 trillion. Okay, obviously a wide gap there. However, we've seen how large the margin has been. We've seen the over leveraging, the credit crisis that's been going on. We don't know the exact number, but it could be bigger than this. Now, what would happen if $5 trillion got pulled from the SPY? That would be as if Nvidia went to zero in the snap of a finger. That's how much money is being propped up by this carry trade. So are the markets done selling off? Well, I don't think so. In fact, even if we slow bled off $5 trillion in the SPY, we should see about an 11+% drop. We are only down about 5.8%. Now, Nvidia CEO has said that the whole world would have fallen apart if they missed earnings. Now, if that is true, which I believe it pretty much is kind of true, who do you think would want the biggest company to not report a bad earnings, right? Obviously, they cook the books, which is what we've been talking about. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm just guessing. I'm not a financial advisor. But Fed's Jefferson just came out and said that AI-related stock gains, unlike .com boom, largely because AI firms actually have earnings. No, they don't. We have been talking about the circle jerk that's been going on alongside Nvidia, Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, Oracle, CoreWeave, right? All of this is a bunch of BS. It's been propping up these markets. Once this is exposed alongside the carry trade unwind, alongside the credit crisis with the Fed's emergency meeting, alongside a possible no rate cut, alongside extreme fear, which we'll talk about in 1 second, markets aren't looking like they are bottoming. Okay, we saw that cross on Nvidia to the downside. The puts that we are in are up, very green, looking very good. Microsoft, we were watching this floor. We've been talking about it very briefly, couldn't hold its floor. This is crucial that the Mag 7 are not being able to hold up their key support levels. This is starting to look like the meta chart. Then we saw Palantir CEO today sold $96 million worth of Palantir stock. It was actually yesterday reported today, or that we're seeing it today at least surfacing. So insiders are continuing to sell. Sam Altman said he's bracing for possible economic headwinds. This is the CEO of OpenAI, if you don't know. All of that leads into the fear and greed index, which is at a 7 out of 100, indicating extreme fear. Actually, possibly the most fear we've seen in the markets in years. I don't think the extreme fear has gotten this low. I believe it was at a 4 earlier. The crypto fear and greed index is at 11 as well. Very, 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 very low. And the icing on top of all of that we mentioned is that the New York Fed received no bid at their overnight repo operation. Guys, we are in a stressful market. I am not going to lie. Yet the market is green today. Why is it green today? Well, we have OPEX. This is the third Friday of the month where a lot of option expirations are coming in. And if I had to guess, a lot of people were in puts. A lot of people want to get out on Friday, but a lot of people have expirations that need to be closed in puts in profit. So if I can understand the mechanics very quickly off the top of my head, maybe I'll butcher this, but you grab these puts. Market makers are delta hedging one way. If they're delta hedging down and people start closing their puts, then they buy back the stock if they were delta hedging short to the downside, I believe. So you're possibly seeing a little bit of green on the market as people close those put positions. That's my best guess right now. Now, on the weekly candle, first of all, actually, we know the MACD cross on the weekly. We know the RSI was overbought on the weekly. As of right now, this is the daily chart. You can see that we also broke below the 50 moving average. The last time SPY broke below, closed below, opened below was way back here in February of 2025. Following that, what happened in the markets? We saw obviously a 25% drop. Okay, I want to talk about this drop in one second as well. On the weekly, we have broken inside of this macro resistance. This isn't supposed to be logarithm. We've broken inside this macro resistance that we see. Tested, crashed. Tested, crashed. Almost tested, crashed. Same thing right now. The SPY is increasingly looking more likely. I don't think the bottom is in at least until we hit 648, seeing how much pressure is on the SPY, on this market. And that is a base case. That is a bullish case. We hit 648. Okay, that is the bullish case. So watch for 648. We're at 654, probably an easy short. Watching also 625 and then 602. We have these downside targets drawn in. Bitcoin hit its third retracement zone. We talked about this in the video I uploaded recently, probably yesterday. We had 3 retracement zones. We wicked into the first one, got a bid, and then absolutely smashed through the second one right into the retracement zone 2. Caught a bid for a minute, smashed down into the third retracement zone, and are catching a bid right now. So are we due for a bounce? It's possible. Bitcoin is the most oversold it's been in over 2 years, and realized losses on Bitcoin have been the highest since we've seen since the FTX collapse. With all of that being said, on the 4-hour time frame, we're at 83,700. A lot of volume is coming in. Normally, a lot of volume marks the bottom unless we are going to see another bleed down. If we see a bleed down, watch 72, 73K, right? Somewhere in this region. This is major support. If we don't bounce off of 72 to 74, then you're in a bloody bear market, and you could see low 50s on Bitcoin. My best guess is we bounce off of 72K on Bitcoin, and the SPY comes down towards 625 to 640, somewhere in this region before popping. Now, we could see a sell-off even worse than this because of how large and how tight this liquidity crisis is. People aren't understanding that. We could see a drop by more. Real quick, I forgot to throw this in. If we do see a rebound, and this leads me into GameStop, AMC, our plays, right? 5 billion in shorts on Bitcoin are going to be liquidated if it rallies to 95K. That number will obviously change, but the same thing goes for the SPY. Once this is over, the panic is over, all the hedging's done, and people aren't fearful anymore, you will see short squeezes. You will see short squeezes on crypto. You will see a lot of money flow back in, but that money is not ready to flow back in. So as we have possible pressure on the swaps for GameStop and AMC, if this is still in place, again, if this is still in place, we also have a little bit of tin. The same Tetris puzzle that Ryan Cohen changed his profile picture to, Dogecoin tweeted March 8th of 2025. There's a couple of things that happened on March 8th of 2025. Since that date, the market dropped another 18% following that date after selling off briefly, showing that we could be right on the verge of that cliff, which was the same crisis that we were in. The carry trade unwind was just beginning. We were in a credit crunch, and now we're in a very similar scenario. Same thing. We can see the correlation over to this chart as well. March 8th, we saw this peak right here. Okay. GameStop, what did it do March 8th? Well, we saw one more flush down before a rip higher. How large was this rip higher? On the daily, the 4 hours probably a little bit better, but about 40-ish% or so, probably give or take some change, likely higher. We see this one last drop coming right to our trend line, which I've been expecting, 1880 or so. And then a 40% gain would bring you up to towards 26. But ultimately, I believe that there is one last piece that is going to be fit in December 3rd. Again, everything is still fitting to my guess, my scenario that I had drawn out, which is one more flush down, SPY, maybe crypto, and then GameStop, AMC as well before squeezing into December when the Fed likely intervenes because the market is collapsing so hard. AMC can't find a bottom. We're fishing for a bottom. We're at 209. It is green on the day, but that really doesn't matter. We are fishing and fishing and fishing for a bottom. Based on our cycle patterns, this is going to be the most aggressive move down. We can see that right here. This overlaid over the chart, very similar to what we're seeing right now. We are in the aggressive downtrend portion before ultimately a very quick squeeze higher on AMC as well as GameStop. So where will this bottom? I don't know, but we are in this, and I don't know the price, but probably the timeline, which is before December begins. Okay, so we have about a week or so, week and a half maybe, to find a bottom. If we get very, very aggressive moves down on the overall market, I could see AMC bottoming at 176. Overall, guys, I have a couple links in the description. One is for my Discord. We're getting new members in there. I appreciate all the love and support you guys are showing. Truly, it matters so much. We've been killing it in the Discord. We've been killing it on the channel. If you're not in the Discord, I urge you to get in there. It'll pay for itself, guys. It really will. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure, please, you're subscribed and have post notifications on. And yeah, I have 7-day free trial for my custom indicator. That link is in the description as well, alongside the Discord. You can join through here or LaunchPass. Completely up to you. It'll take you in the same server. That is it, guys. Enjoy your weekend. We will make a bunch of money next week as well after killing it this week. Remember, patience is key. Don't give up all your gains on a Friday. I love you all. God bless. Lottery stocks out.